Hello, all kings and queens out there. Thank you for tuning in. I am back with another video. Today, I would like to discuss the topic of being numb. For some reason, there's always this, no, I wouldn't say always, but there are times and moments in my life where I've ran into people who would preach to me to become numb of my emotions and how I feel about certain things so that it wouldn't affect me. And although that may have worked for them, or in a certain moment in time that was a solution, a valid solution, it's definitely not the right thing to do to me. You know, everybody has their own opinion, of course, and I respect anybody's opinion, and everyone's situation is different and requires different things. Such as even my husband, he went through a situation where being numb saved him from going insane, like mentally and things like that. And I was in a situation where I could have went numb, but I didn't want to lose that touch with my emotion. And when you're going through your journey of spirituality and you're going through a journey of healing and trying to just be a better you never want to lose that connection to your emotions, because that's just a part of who you are. That's a part of being a human. That's a part of having a human experience. And that connection and the detail and just the ability to feel is everything. And one thing that I've learned so much recently is that, like, in order to vibrate at a higher frequency and connect to source energy and the divine, and just be on the right path of healing and everything, the highest frequency is love. So if you're numb and you're detached from your emotion, how can you vibrate at a frequency of love when you disconnect from your emotions? It just doesn't work. At least in my head, it doesn't work. So, this is just an encouragement to take the time to understand your emotion, understand what you're feeling, understand that it's okay to have emotion. There's nothing wrong with that. For some reason, as the adults in our life continuously preach that, stop crying, stop being a baby, stop this, stop that. They constantly preach you to stop feeling the emotion that you're feeling about a situation, when that's just your natural reaction. However, when you do experience those emotions, you should allow it to come and then allow it to flow away and not hold on to it. And there's like a balance to it. Allow the emotion to come in, feel it, and then allow yourself to release it in the way that it needs to be released. And we are not taught that, and that's a great disservice, I feel like, to people in general, because you should be taught to feel your emotion, yes, but not to hold on to it to the point where it leads to you constantly being angry, you constantly being sad to where you get into a state of depression, or you constantly feeling this one certain thing, and then that affects the other parts of your life in a negative way that don't service you in the way that it should. Just connect with your emotions. There's nothing wrong with it. People call you, may say things, call you a baby, call you, whatever they're gonna say to you. It doesn't really matter what they think or what they say. It's all comes down to you and what you're feeling. Feel what you feel in the moment, and then release it in the way that it needs to be released. And that is definitely easier said than done. I still have my struggles with it to this day. I've always been taught to just push it to the side, keep going, move on to the next situation, just ignore this or ignore that. And for so long, just pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. In other moments where it didn't warrant a certain reaction, I would burst out with my full anger of pent up energy because I just constantly kept pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down, which was not healthy. And then that in turn also made me sick physically within my body because of all the pent up emotions and trauma and things that I was feeling and holding on to, because I was not feeling my emotions in those moments and releasing it after. I would feel it and then I would immediately try to push it down and not feel it because I felt like in that moment it wasn't a service to me. Now, of course, give yourself grace because it does take time to rearrange and undo the things that you've been doing for so many years. Yes. And also give yourself grace to the point of you weren't taught how to effectively do that. So don't, jump in and then start criticizing yourself if you forget or if you feel an emotion, you hold on to it. The key to healing from it and being better with it is awareness and self-reflection. So when you do have those moments where things might slip up or you may feel a certain thing and then push it down just naturally, normally, subconsciously, because it just happens that way. When you are on a healing journey and you're constantly self-reflecting, you're constantly journaling or doing shadow work, or you're just being aware of what's going on with you and being in touch with what's going on inside in your head and your body and everything like that, you'll be aware, okay, I did that. And then you can go back and fix it. And anything, it can always be fixed. So just taking the time to feel the emotion, yes, process it, and then allow it to leave properly. Like I said, this is still something that I'm working on. It's not an overnight task. It's something that you could just snap out of. Now, kudos to anyone who can. That's a dope thing. Kudos to you. But for me, I know that that has been a part of my journey of when I feel an emotion, not pushing it down immediately and not feeling it, but allow myself to feel what I'm feeling in the moment and then release it in the way that it needs to go. I know for a long time I used to argue with my husband because I was going through a lot of stuff with my family and I kept having a lot of emotions behind it and it kept affecting me and I kept talking about it and complaining about it and I kept complaining to him about it, and of course that gets annoying because it's like I would say one thing and do another, and my emotions were just all over the place. And so he started telling me what he does, which is be numb and not connect and just detach from the feeling of it so that you're not affected. And for some reason that just never sat right with me. And we would always go back and forth about it because I just couldn't agree with it. It just didn't sit right with me and I just couldn't agree with it. And of course I wasn't in the part of my journey that I am now, so I didn't understand it back then, but I definitely felt wrong. It felt wrong to me. It felt wrong to me to try to numb away and get rid of the emotion that I was feeling just so that I wouldn't feel anything. It just didn't make sense to me. But then now if you go back and you really think about it and I can process and look back on what I was going through, I in my own way was numbing my thing by immediately pushing it down, even though it was being pent up within myself physically and mentally and things like that. It was my own way of numbing in a way. But regardless, numbing is not the way. Numbing it's not effective. In my eyes, it kind of does more damage than good. But I do know that sometimes, our body has a natural reaction to immediately protect ourselves. And so sometimes that is the immediate reaction. And sometimes that gets you through the time and period that you are in. But once you begin to heal, once you begin to transform and, become a new you, just know that being numb to the emotions is not effective. And connecting to your emotions and being in touch with your emotions is highly effective. And you just have to practice with processing whatever feeling that comes up for you in situations, and then allowing them to leave properly, and not holding on to them, not pushing them away, not storing them in your body, not ignoring what you're feeling, but just taking it in and then releasing it. That's the best way, honestly. And it just makes it like I've worked with kids in my past a lot, and I have kids around me now and things like that. My daughter's still too young, but it does dishearten me when I see kids get to that stage of numbness where they don't feel anything, to the point where they don't even know how they feel about themselves, or they don't even have an opinion or anything about a situation. Like, they've completely detached themselves from an emotional state of being because of like either bullying or their parents constantly demeaning them, and whenever they do have an emotion and no one understanding them, it's really disheartening to see that. But yeah, we've all been through the journey of having our parents or our peers or whatever do things that causes our body to react in certain ways. And kudos to our body for doing what it needs to do to protect us in the moments that we have things, even though it might not be effective. But once you get to that part of your journey, you can definitely change that and change it around and make it better for yourself, so that you can allow yourself to feel in the way that you need to feel, so that you can connect with those frequencies and go to a higher dimension of what you may need in any moment. I conclude that with saying, everybody's on a different journey. Everybody has their own opinions and they feel different ways and everything. And definitely take what resonates for you in your journey. And if you don't agree, that's okay. Everybody doesn't agree everybody doesn't have the same beliefs and agreements. Everybody's different. No one is the same. You are your own unique you. And so, just let on me with my opinion about being numb and trying to disconnect yourself from your emotions. It's just not effective. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you.